Alright, so today is 9/11, so what else am I gonna make a video about except for 9/11? It's just gonna be recapping my 9/11 day from what I can remember. Um, the main focus of that day, I do remember, was getting the blueprint. You know, the highly anticipated blueprint. That's all I wanted to do on 9/11. We were working at a hotel, and the guy I was working with, we had to be there at 8 o'clock. And about an hour and a half into working, I remember he came downstairs and he was like, "You ain't gonna believe this." And I was like, "All right, what?" He said, "Some idiot flew a plane into the Pentagon." In my mind, I'm thinking that's impossible. There's so many buildings around the Pentagon that, like, why would you hit the Pentagon? Like, if it's an accidental thing, like, why would you hit the Pentagon? Because it's a big. The building looks important. If you're up in the sky and you're looking down, you see all these buildings, and it's like, hey, what's that big five-sided figure? Even if you don't know what's going on at the Pentagon, that building looks important. So it's like if you needed like an emergency landing or something, you would do it somewhere else, not close to this building. But anyway, I'm just like, man, you lying. Stop playing. If you want to take a break, just say you want to take a break. So he was like, well, you can go out into the hotel lobby and see, cause it's on CNN. I go out there and I'm looking, and all I see is the World Trade Center. It's on fire. I didn't really, pay close attention to it. I just looked, and I didn't even read the little words at the bottom. I just was like, okay, it's the World Trade Center, which made sense because they're so high. Maybe plane had some turbulence, it lost an engine, it was foggy, cloud, whatever. That made sense. Okay, that someone accidentally ran into Twin Tower. So I go back in the room. I was like, man, you kind of stupid because that was the Pentagon. I mean, that wasn't the Pentagon. That was the Twin Tower that got hit. So if you don't know the difference between, 100-story building and a 6-story building, something wrong with you. So he said, he looking at me like, nah, he was like, I know what I saw. And I saw the Pentagon on fire. So I was like, well, go out there and see. He goes out there, he comes back, and he's like, all right, you want to bet? I'm like, sure, we can bet. This is gonna be the easiest money I ever made. I can go get the blueprint with his money. Okay, let's bet. $20. In hindsight, we sitting there arguing about. You see what we were arguing about? What building got hit? So we both go out there, so that there's no confusion anymore. There's no, he said, she said, he said, he said. We both go out there. We look at the TV, and I'm like, see, it's Twin Tower. Give me my money. So he looking, he was like, nah, that's to go to the Pentagon right there. And I looked, and it was because CNN was switching back and forth between the two. And we just looked at each other, and we was like, oh shit, it's time to go. Like these ain't accidents that's happening. This is somebody did that on purpose. We got the heck up out of Dodge. We go back to the electric room. We packing up our stuff. My mother calls me. I remember two conversations that day. I might have talked to more people on the phone, but everybody said that their phone didn't work on 9/11. I had the Nextel I-95. My Nextel did its job that day. Kudos Nextel on that day. My mother calls me, pick it up. I'm like, hello? She's like, are you working in DC today? I was like, nah, I ain't working in DC today. She's like, where you at? I'm like, I'm on my way home. One thing for sure, and two things is for certain. If the world's coming to an end, I'm laying up on under my mother's bosom when the world comes to an end. Like I was like, I'm on my way home. Like, where else am I gonna be? I'm on my way. She say, all right. Hotel manager comes down. He's like, guys, we gotta stop working. We gotta stop testing because of what's going on, and we don't want anything. Dude, we halfway out the door while he's talking to us. We like, yeah, okay, bye, yeah, yeah. You don't have to worry about us staying around doing this. The second person I remember talking to on that day was my cousin. And when he called me, I think he was working nights. And he called me. He was like, "You see what's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, this is crazy." He said, "Man, I'm so scared. I ran out the house and I was on my way to my mother's house. So I'm like, okay, like what's wrong with that? Cause that's where I'm on my way. He was like, he just had a newborn baby. He said, I left the baby in the house. He's like, I'm halfway down the parkway and I remember, oh shit, I gotta go back and get the baby. Wasn't too many things funny that day, but that was funny because there's no way you left a 3-month-old baby. You was so scared that you left a 3-month-old baby in the house because you a grown man and you got scared, so you ran out the house to your mama house and you left a 3-month-old baby in the house. Come on now. So I was like, man, you lying. He was like, man, I'm dead serious. I left the baby in the house. I panicked. I had to go back and get her. I get home and my mother and my aunt are in the kitchen watching TV. And when I walk in there, I don't see the buildings burning anymore. All I see is smoke. Just a whole bunch of white smoke. Just cloudy. And they had to do like, they couldn't zoom in on it because you couldn't see nothing that they did. So they had to do like a wide angle so you could just see all the smoke. So I'm like what happened? Like, did a third plane hit it? A fourth plane hit it while I was coming home? And my mother said, nah, it fell. I'm like, what you mean it failed? Like, what failed? Like, the plane that was in it, like, fell out and caused that? She's like, nah, the tower fell. I said, nah, the tower didn't fall. Let me explain something to you. The tower was steel, it was made to withstand explosions and all that. The tower did not fall because when I left work, the tower was standing. It couldn't have failed. And my aunt confirmed it. She said, nah, it failed. I don't believe either one of them. So I gotta wait for the lady to say it on TV that the tower fell. The lady said the tower fell on TV, and I was like, it fell? Like, are you serious? Like, it fell? I got a thing for receipts. I think I got like OCD or something. Cause I keep a lot of receipts that maybe I shouldn't keep. They don't really mean anything. Well, they mean something to me, but they don't mean much. So I had to get out the house. I had to get away from this. I couldn't wrap my head around what was going on, so I went to Target to get the blueprint. Now, when I go into Target, it's like a ghost town. There's nobody in there but like me and the Target employees. When you go back to the electronics section, every TV is on, the World Trade Centers or the Pentagon. So I kept the receipts from that day. You know how they give you 2 receipts. You got one little gift receipt, whatever. And I wrote Pentagon bombing on this receipt, on the gift receipt. And I can see now that on 9/11/01 at 12:30 is when I got the blueprint. That's when I got it. 12:30. Went back home, trying to listen to the blueprint. That's not really gonna happen. The whole world is coming apart, and I can't really listen to the blueprint. So I kept watching, and all type of stories started coming. I turn on the news, all type of stories. They gonna hit the Hollywood sign. Like, oh my God, not the Hollywood sign. Like every major landmark, in the United States of America is what they gonna hit. I'm like, oh, are they gonna hit the White House? Are they gonna hit the Capitol? Are they gonna hit the Monument? Just a whole bunch of stuff started coming out. Later on that day, I remember my father came home and he was taking off his tie. He was like, yeah, they say people was jumping out the buildings. So this is another one of these little tales, these little tall tales, because there's no way I'm going to believe in a 100-story building that people were jumping out of windows. And he was like, nah, they were jumping out the windows, because I was like, why would you jump out of a window? He was like, listen, you still a little young. When there's a fire at your back and there's smoke all around you, you got to escape. And if you see a window open, you probably going to jump out of it because you can't get out of a door, so you jump out the window. So later on, it really came out that people were jumping out of the buildings. And that's when I was like, wow, that's when it really got real. Like, to save your life, you're going to jump out of a 100-story building. So 9/11 started off real good. It was sunny, it was a nice day, and it ended terribly. I don't know which one was. 9/12 might have been even worse. Just waking up and realizing what had just happened, like this, that was real. That really happened. And it's like, well, do I go to work? Do I stay here? Are they gonna try something else? Like, what do I do now? And I still can't really wrap my head around. It's a little bit better now that I'm older. I know why they did it, but at the time I couldn't understand why you would hit a plane, why you hit a building with a plane and kill yourself. I still couldn't understand that one. So yeah, everything changed after that, pretty much.